With inventory on the rise, demand cooling off just a little bit, and historically low interest rates, now might be the perfect time if you're thinking about selling a home and then turn around and buying in this market. Let's talk about that and more in this week's segment of Market Watch. Hi everyone, and happy special Friday. It's your host, Joshua Barks with Keller Williams Realty Boise and the Barks & Co. Real Estate team here with this week's segment of Market Watch. If you're new to the channel, we talk about the Boise area housing market on a week-over-week basis, and then once a month we cover our deep dive into the market dynamics for both Ada and Canyon County. If you missed the market dynamics video, that was last week, so link below in the description, and be sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you can get my latest videos when they are posted every Friday. Okay, so let's dive right into the numbers and what's going on this week. So inventory still on the rise, though a less of a jump this week than we saw in previous weeks. So we have 772 active listings in all of Ada County, which is the most we've had all year. So go us, finally getting some more listings out there compared to last week's 750. Though the number of new listings that are hitting the market every week has declined. We were consistently seeing in the 250s. Last week we saw 259. This week we have 210 new listings that hit the market. So it seems like maybe a little bit of a slowdown there as people are hurrying with going back to school and getting ready for that. So I anticipate we'll likely see that number stay pretty flat through the rest of August and then pick back up in September, because I know personally of several people that are waiting until after the Labor Day weekend in order to get started on their move. Then when we go into the number of pending sales, even though inventory is on the rise, pending sales are staying pretty consistent. We have 815 pending overall in Ada County compared to last week's 799 pending. We had 201 homes go under contract in the last 7 days compared to, 199 went under contract in the last 7 days, 201 went pending the week before. So pretty much the same there as far as new homes going under contract. And then we have the number of homes sold, 175 sold. So for the first time in over a month, we have less than 200 homes closing in 1 week's time frame, which is indicative of the fewer contracts we were seeing for the last 30 days. So that's what I meant by, there's slightly less demand. It's not as bananas as we saw last year this same time, which makes sense. What I think we're still experiencing is our typical summer lull. Of course, and I've been saying this for weeks now, we really won't know if this is a trend until later and we have more data to back it up, because right now it's still a blip. And then one thing that I want to talk about as well are price corrections. I'm seeing a lot of price reductions going on in the Valley. And so that leads a lot of people to believe, oh my gosh, prices are finally coming down. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, that may not be the case. In fact, several of the price corrections that we're seeing are because the sellers are pricing their home too aggressively for the market. The market's been doing this, so sellers are like, I want this for my home, hoping that the market will get up there, and instead the market is doing this, so they have to reduce in order to meet the market. In some cases, some of these homes are significantly over market value, so they are not selling at all. And some of them aren't even getting showings because they're overpriced. So even in a hot seller's market like this one, it's never been more important to price your listing correctly and have an agent that understands the market that can help you net the most money, because the ones that are overpriced end up reducing and then stay on the market longer, and buyers are used to homes being snapped up immediately almost. So homes that have been on the market for a week or 2 weeks, which used to be normal and appears to be starting to get closer to that again, thank goodness. Buyers are looking at that and going, oh, there must be something wrong with that home, or oh, that's been on the market forever, even though it's only been a week, maybe 2, and deciding, well, I I do want to make an offer, but I'm going to go in under what they're asking for because they've been on the market for a little while. So that's something to consider rather than pricing it correctly and allowing the market to give you that auction-like effect to get potentially have the best potential for multiple offers. People are starting too high and then having to meet the market and ultimately losing money at the end of the day. Because of that slight cooling, with listings becoming rejected for being overpriced by the marketplace, now it's been a great time for buyers. Yes, it's still a strong seller's market. Yes, it's still competitive out there, but it is a solid time for buyers, the ones that have stuck it out, because rates are still incredibly low. And because there's less competition out there, you have a better chance of actually securing a home. And then one thing that I wanted to talk about with interest rates, yes, they did come up this week just slightly. Last week they were at 2.77 for the 30-year fixed, and this week they're at 2.87, so a little bit of a jump there due to the strong jobs report that they received overall. So the Fed has bought less mortgage-backed securities than they were previously, and so that's keeping rates still really low, but they are starting to come back up. So now may be the perfect time for those of you that are thinking about selling a home, someone that's been on the sidelines for a little while, wondering what's going on with the pandemic and things like that, because you can actually capitalize in a super hot seller's market, because it's still super hot out there, just a little bit cooler compared to the craziness we saw last year. So capitalize on maximizing your profits in this seller's market, and then turn around and buy a home with less competition at a great interest rate. And so that's another reason why it is so important to have an agent that knows how to price your listing correctly, because you want your home to sell for top dollar in this market, and then so you can actually take that money and do what you need to do with it. If you're one of those people that's thinking about selling, specifically if you bought in the last couple of years, or maybe you're still in your first home, your starter home, and you're looking for something a little bit bigger, now is literally the perfect time. And I don't know how long this window of opportunity will last. Be sure to reach out. I'd love to be interviewed. Because it might not be the perfect time for you specifically, because everyone's individual situation is different. But I do think by and large, it is the perfect time for most people to cash in on their investment that they made and turn around and get something fantastic at a fantastic interest rate while rates are still low. So if you're thinking about that, feel free to give me a call. My number is 208-914-1095. Of course, you can always email me. My email's at the bottom of the screen. And then also, I do have an option on my website to book me directly. So you don't even need to call. It's just a couple clicks away and you can book an appointment with me immediately. That's pretty much what I have for this week. Inventory is still coming up. Demand is staying pretty consistent, though less competitive, and interest rates are still incredibly low, and it might be the perfect time for you if you're thinking about selling and buying something in this market. So we will see you next week. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you then.